Hey, welcome to the barn. Today we are in the middle of a little bit of an ongoing project, which is replacing what was the rubber floor mats with patio pavers. And as we started laying the pavers, we realized that there was way too many rocks in the ground, and as we went to screed out the material, it just wasn't working. So finally decided that I was gonna make up a little bit of a sifting table, and we found it works really well. So that's the excitement. Mace has been helping me all day, which is super helpful, and we're just trying to work through all the material that we kind of dragged out. Hopefully at the end of this, everything that's in here will be good to go, nice smooth, kind of sandy, 1/4 inch minus. Every once in a while we shut it off and we toss the rocks in the Kubota so we can get rid of them. Pop it back and keep going. So I'd say in about a course of an hour of work we've done all of this material, which is quite a bit. And then every once in a while we find something cool, like an old pin that I think goes to the Kubota. Been sitting in the dirt. No gold nuggets though. Nothing that cool. This worked really good. We're going to make, just clean up the last of it, and then we'll be basically in a situation where we have nice sand to lay under these pavers. And I know that we have more than we're going to need, but I wanted to screed everything. That way what's left over after the fact, I can kind of stick aside, maybe even put in a barrel And you always need clean sand at some point in time. Looking forward to giving this a try on some loam one of these days. Maybe next time I patch the lawn, I can filter some rocks out of the extra loam pile I have. I think we're done, bud. Well done. Appreciate your help. Nice. Tomorrow we can put down these pavers. Well, there you have it. That worked really good. So now that we've got all this sand sifted, I figure I should go back and actually tell you what I've been using to sift with. This is a sifting table, a vibrating sifting table that is a combination of an Amazon bought sifting shaker, which is like $100 on Amazon, and a homemade, something I really just threw together real quick, table that I built for the purposes of holding this. The shaker table, the shaker itself didn't show up here until this afternoon. So I actually built the stand as I was waiting for the Amazon guy to show up with it. And I did find that the dimension, this was supposed to be 39 inches. It ended up being like 39 and a quarter. So I just spaced these legs out a little bit to hold it. But what I have on the frame I built, it's pretty straightforward. I cut 8 2x4 pieces of 2x4, 24 inches long, just to give me a height. And I took some 2x6s and I cut a 3/4 inch rabbet out of one edge, and that just gave me this little tray that it sits in. And this last 2x6 I cut at the same height as the rabbet, so 4 3/4. And what I did was use the legs as the stop on this edge. And the reason I wanted to do that versus the rabbet is I knew from the photos that this shaker motor was going to hang down a little bit. And actually, if I try to fit it on the rabbet side, it doesn't fit. The rabbet is in the way. So I made the right choice, and I just used the legs to hold it in place. And this has a rotary speed control, but I only used it in the full speed, which is 1 click on. It'll slow down almost to a stop, but I didn't find a use for that. Maybe there would be in certain circumstances, but for my purposes, full speed was great. This motor is probably most of the cost. I think the motor by itself is about $60 or $70. So this frame, which I really could have built by myself, just picked up some mesh and some lumber. This frame is, you know, probably not quite worth the price difference, but it did save me some time and effort, and it did hold up pretty well. It's pretty nicely built, so I can't complain about that. I would say that my my use of the 1/4 inch suggests that the 1/2 inch is probably not the right size for most sifting. I would say even for loam, it might be on the big side. Maybe a little bit better for loam. But I think what I'll do is I'll keep the 1/2 inch, but I'll get a piece of 1/4 inch mesh to drop in there, and then I'll be able to use both sides, or maybe even a finer mesh. You do get, you know, some of this more granular type rock coming through, but the bulk of it is really nice and smooth. So I'm very pleased. I think this is going to be way easier for us to spread and screed out for the paver base than what we were dealing with all the rocks and junk. You know, before I kind of turned this into my man cave, the previous homeowners here had horses in this barn, and they had based it with this rock material for the horses to make it comfortable, and then the rubber mats that I've been using as a floor were in the other area. This barn was actually partitioned into 3 zones. I've taken all the partitions out, and it's just one big barn now. But that's really the origin of all this material. And I had never really dug much in here, but what I found is that even just trying to go down 2 inches for the pavers, there was a lot of fill and a lot of junk and quite a bit of rock that we had to dig out and chip out of the way. So now we've gotten it down to the point where I should be able to spread this sand right over everything, set my screeding rails and screed out to a nice, smooth, level base, and then I can place my pavers down, get a compactor in here, smooth everything out, and then I'm going to put some polymeric sand down to bind it all together. I'm really happy with this. I'm going to stick it up in the loft, and next time I need to do some landscape work around the house and need a little topsoil cleaned, I will drag it out and put it to good use. But I think it was a good investment. It definitely saved me a lot of headache on this project. So pretty cool. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.